Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? God bless y'all. God bless y'all. God bless y'all. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Hopefully, everyone here is having a blessed, wonderful day. Hopefully, all is well with y'all. Just trying to get myself situated here. First and foremost, I want to say thank y'all. Those that are on this live, please hit the like button and come in. Please hit the subscribe button. And today's Friday conversation about broke man investing. Just talking about how I do and what I do and why I do what I do as it relates to investing. Um, I'm not I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not telling somebody what they should and should not do with their money, how to invest and what to invest in. I only talk about what I might do, what I should do, what I might do, possibly do, and so forth. um, as a means of giving people some insight in what I do on a day-to-day basis as it relates to investing. Um, and just overall money. You know what I mean? Like what we do, how to manage your money, how to invest your money, looking for opportunity and stuff like that. And I'm gonna say this much before I get too far into it. And some things that I am possibly going to buy today, I'm going to put in the chat the stock codes. This is not for anybody to purchase. This is just me saying the things that I'm looking at that I might end up purchasing. That is more of because it's in my portfolio currently. Um, so because it's currently in my portfolio, I might end up buying more. This is not for someone else, suggesting for someone else to do that. Just showing y'all what I might do today because of the price and I don't know if anybody looks at the stock market on a regular basis, but there's a lot of things that are currently down. Stock market as a whole. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all hitting subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. I had this scheduled, but I realized later that I had it PM instead of AM. But it is what it is. Come in, whatever. But those are so far two things that I'm looking at that I might end up buying today. Currently, I hold shares in these companies, um, but I am in the red, and some of them by a lot, which I'm okay with. Red is being in the red for me is just a means of okay, it's time for me to buy more. Um, just so y'all know, I am a dividend investor. So when I put these things in the chat, those are stocks that I might currently buy that pay out some form of dividend, and that's the route that I usually take. The reason why I call it broke man investing because when I started doing it on my own without a 401k and just investing on my own, I'm not gonna say I was poor, but I wasn't financially where I am today. So I just started learning and teaching myself, and then came up with a way of doing it that works for me. And so therefore, I just decided that one day I'm going to share what it is that I do on a regular basis to create income, which in return may create wealth down the road. So if you look at the chat, you're going to see that there's a few things that I've already put money into. That I'm talking about. So IIPR, HRZN, UPS. I've been buying UPS, and I'm still trying to add more in. So as my dividends come in, I reinvest them, and I usually reinvest them in companies that that either the same company, depending on where I'm at when I get the money, or maybe I'll shift that money and use it into another company that pays out some type of dividends. And I just keep on doing the same routine over and over. But the ones that I put in the chat so far are things that I may currently um, buy. There's always the immature idiots that come in here that have some 2-year-old comments. But you know, y'all, it is what it is. They just they can't help themselves. So today ain't that day for that. I mean, you want to talk that stuff, come back Monday. But anyway, like I said, hopefully y'all having a blessed day. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. But the stocks that I put into the chat, currently in the chat, that's my intent is to purchase more. Some throughout the day I'm going to watch. Some of them I've actually put a little bit more money into. Others I'm still keeping an eye on. But if someone was to decide to purchase the ones that I'm talking about, let's say they say, you know what, I want to look into that. They would actually be buying them cheaper than what I did. Just so y'all know. So if someone's on this live and they say, oh, you know what, I want to buy that. I'm gonna look into that. If they was to go purchase these stocks that I'm putting in the chat right now, they will actually be buying them cheaper than me. And the ones that I do put in the chat, I always tell people that I only put in the chat what what's in the red for me, and it pays dividends. I think I put that in there right. And it pays dividends. So read the room sometimes. I mean, when you come into the chat, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, but also sometimes just read the room. Hey Queen, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome in, welcome in. Please hit the like button for a brother. Appreciate you very, very much. As you can see, there are things that I put in the chat that I currently may end up buying more of. If I was, the reason why is because in my portfolio, my personal portfolio, these things are in the red for me. Yes, they do pay out dividends if anybody's interested in that. But real talk, I am a dividend investor and I love it. Like I really, really, really love investing this way. And that's what's up, Queen. I'm glad you're taking notes. Hopefully, something that I said, if you put it to use, hopefully it blesses your life extremely. I just want to give you an idea of one of them. FEPI is an ETF. Like I'm talking about all of them, but I'm gonna pull out this FEPI one. It's an ETF stock, which pays out dividends every single month. I'm going to talk about this one for a reason. It pays out dividends every single month. Understanding that investing comes with risk, right? Every time you invest in stock market, real estate, business, it has a level of risk. So I never will sit there and tell you that I have all the answers. What I say is that I know that what I do come with a level of risk, but I want to tell y'all about this. FEPI, right? It's an ETF, which is made up of a bunch of different companies. And I'm going by the information that Robinhood gives you, which is Amazon is one of the companies that FEPI has holdings in. Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Broad.com, and Alphabet Class A. And there's other ones, but I'm just giving you an idea of what some of the ones that are actually in that ETF. I don't hold a lot. I hold about 20 shares of it right now, and I definitely, that's why I said I'm looking at it, and I'm probably going to end up buying more probably today because the market itself is down as a whole. But that 20 shares that I own roughly brings me in close to about $20 a month. Just so y'all know. You know what I mean? The 20 shares that I own, I roughly get, and then the dividends for that can fluctuate. It can go higher and can go lower based on how they handle and close it out at the end of when they close out whatever they do. They pay out the dividends to shareholders. But again, that particular one, I own 20 shares at an average cost of $47.79. That's my average cost. So if you currently look at it right now, the price of the stock is at $45. So it's a little lower than what I actually paid for it. But if you look at it as in the long run, if they keep paying that dividend around that price, every 2 months, you would almost have enough money to purchase another share of it. And then you would increase your position more and so forth. And you just, what they call rinse and repeat, or recycle the dividends, whatever. Just giving you an idea of what I'm in the red with it. I'm not a stock trader. I don't trade stocks. Once in a while I will, depending on how something is performing, and if I'm up pretty good and I say, you know what, I could take this money out of this company and put it somewhere else where it give me better opportunity, or maybe increase my value of my money, or increase my dividends a little bit better, I will do that. But it's extremely rare for me to close out my positions in a lot of these companies. Yes, I know they can go bad over time or whatever, but I love the long-term ride of just keep investing, keep going, keep going, keep going. And overall, it's been a blessing, financial blessing. And that's where I'm at right now. There was another one. And like I said, if you intend to buy stock, I always suggest that you go do your research. Look at the financial health of it, what's in there. If it's an ETF, look at what's in the ETFs. And nothing's guaranteed. Understand that. Nothing is guaranteed. But like, here's my point. I started buying stock in Cracker Barrel. Just to give y'all an idea. I started buying Cracker Barrel. Now, Cracker Barrel, I'm in the red. Now, I don't have a whole lot of it, but I'll put their stock in there. Now, y'all know the whole lot of controversy over Cracker Barrel. It turned into a political, they made it political. Like, oh, Cracker Barrel, and, you know, they had some issues with what their CEO was doing and the decision making and stuff like that. And I watched that stock just plunder. I didn't have none. Honestly, I had no money whatsoever invested in Cracker Barrel. But I watched that stock. Cracker Barrel at one point back in 2019 was at 2000. It was around $180 a share. That's where it peaked off at. That was back in 2019. I'm just looking at something. But let's look at a year ago. I'm going to look at a year ago. The highest Cracker Barrel was at this year alone. Just looking at this year was about $68. That's where it was at a year ago. It was at about $68. So I currently have it. When I started buying it, my average cost is $37. That's where I'm at right now. $37 is my average cost when I decided to start buying Cracker Barrel. Now, some may look at it and say, oh, yeah, it's in the red. Now, listen, I have no idea what's going to happen with Cracker Barrel. I don't know if it's going to go bad. I don't know if it's going to go good. I don't know if it's going to go great. I have no clue, but I bought it. Now, Cracker Barrel pays dividends, and there's a good possibility that it might get worse. That's the risk that I was willing to take. Now, am I going to buy more Cracker Barrel? Yup. I'm going to buy more. I'm going to buy more. Why? Because I know that if Cracker Barrel get their act together and they start running that business like it should have been ran, and if they went back to what worked instead of trying to change it to something that ain't going to work, in a business, you don't alienate your supported the customers that buy from you. That's the dumbest thing you can do in business, is to alienate the core people that support your business. Same stupid decision that Budweiser decided to make, which was, oh, we're going to promote somebody who don't even buy the beer nor drink it. That was dumb. Now, you can make it into a political thing, or you can make it into whatever you want to make it into. But the reality of it is about business is this. You do not alienate the people that support your business. If you have a core group of people that buy your food, buy your business, buy your product, whatever case may be, and you alienate the core business, your revenues are going to be affected by that. That's just business. That's not political. That's business. That's just logical in business, makes sense. If I make pizza and I make good pizza, and then all of a sudden I decide to alienate the people that buy my pizza on a regular basis, That's my fault. That's bad business. I don't care who you are in business. I don't care if you're a CEO or whatever case may be. A lot of these people go through these schools and they get all of this so-called information from idiots that don't have, that don't know what they don't. I don't care what school teaches you a lot of that stuff. A lot of times they're teaching you stuff that don't work in the real world. And I'm not saying all schools, but a lot of it don't. There were things that I learned in school, and I'm like, what the heck does this have to do with the real world? I've been out here for all this time since school ended, and I haven't used it yet. So I threw it in the trash and left it there. But that's what I'm saying about. But anyway, back to Cracker Barrel, I started buying. Now it's in the cracker. It's still going down. Right now, Cracker Barrel is at $29. So it's almost $10 less than what I purchased it for. Does that mean I panic and jump out? Nope. I just watch what Cracker Barrel doing. That's it. So far, they kind of changed course, which makes sense. And then what's going to eventually happen, and my hopes is that, and it's no guarantee that it is, that they go back to doing smart business and the stock price and the value of the stock goes up, and I'll continue to keep buying. Simple as that. I'll continue to keep buying. I mean, now Donald asked the question, what they do to alienate customers. My thing is this, is that the people that go there for a reason. So if you change the scenery or something and they're not happy with the scenery that you changed it to because you didn't consult your customers, you just alienated your customers. It's just like Budweiser. The person that they try to promote Budweiser don't drink Budweiser. The average Budweiser drinker is a male. Man, some of them have beer bellies. Some of them don't, but those are Budweiser drinkers, beer drinkers, motorcycle guys. So you disrespected every last one of those people that buy Budweiser. You didn't feel the need to put none of these guys on your cans. Promote. That's where I mean by alienating your people, your customer base. The core customer base, you don't do things to alienate them. You try to find small set of ways to increase your business by going after new business, but you don't do that by alienating the people that already support your business. And when they start to push back at you, because the people that are always complaining, like the other people that you're trying to do it, they will never support your business. They're not going to support your business. They're not. That's what the reality of it is. They're not going to support your business. That dude that they tried to put on that beer will never be the one buying the beer. They're not. So why would you go after a customer that's not going to buy your beer? When you go to any bar and look at the vast majority of people that buy beer, those are the people you need to be making sure you take good care, that you keep in the loop. You don't alienate and get them out of your business. That's what I mean by that. So this is not about politics. It became about politics. Why? Because you alienated the people. And same thing with Budweiser. Now that they shifting course, now they got to go try to get back the people they pissed off. Why? Because they saw their sales drop. They saw their business drop. They realized that, oh, we made a big mistake, and they reversed course. They alienated their customer base by taking black men off the sign. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They alienated their customer base because they put a white gay guy on there. That's what they did. They tried to promote a white gay guy. So what does that got to one that has to do with another? That's how they alienated their customer base by doing it. That was a bad idea. Regardless of what that person is, that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. I don't drink. I personally, and I agree with you, I don't drink beer. So I'm not the customer that they will ever get. No beer company out there will ever get me as a customer because I don't drink beer. I don't drink no form of alcohol. So to come after, for me personally, you'd be wasting your time trying to get me because I don't drink. People have such immature mentality, I swear to you. I think all alcohol sucks. And I don't know. I'm not going to say it sucks or don't. So I just choose not to. I don't see the benefits of it. I don't see the personal benefit of drinking. I just personally don't see it. I don't see why anybody drink. I've never seen people drink and something great come out of it. So I just don't see the point in it. I said I wasn't talking about Cracker Barrel. I was talking about Budweiser. Not Cracker Barrel, Budweiser. Bring back Aunt Jemima. You're darn right. I agree with you. But my point to this is that when I read, the reason why I brought up that story is that when you hear those type of stories and you hear these publicly traded companies, the reason why I'm bringing up those type of stories is because sometimes that can be a good opportunity to buy. Not all the time, but sometimes that can be a good opportunity to buy. That's the reason why I went in and I bought Cracker Barrel. It's because I think that they can recover from it. That's my personal opinion. That don't mean that they're going to. My point is, I started buying Cracker Barrel, and I'm going to continue to buy Cracker Barrel. So if it turns around, and if they actually turn that business around and the stock price goes up, I will continue to collect dividends, hopefully, because they stay profitable. Number two, the value of the stock will go up, and I'll be in the green with it at some point or another. I'm only going to buy in the red, but that's what I'm talking about. I didn't think about that one, but you're absolutely correct. I didn't think about that one. So maybe I need to start. Let me go find me some alcohol companies I can. Well, I do have Budweiser, but I didn't do it at the beginning. Why are y'all so stuck on colors and races? Why are y'all always talking? I've never seen so many people bring up skin color in my life until I started doing YouTube. Now, this is where it may, the very people that always trying to say somebody else is racist is the people that be on my chat that brings up skin color 24/7. You are the real racist because you don't have no other conversation but to point out the fact that somebody's either white, black, and other. I'm on my live talking about business, how to make money, how I invest my money. And the first thing come out your retarded mind is about skin color. This is where the stupidity comes in at. You don't even have enough self-control to read the room and say, you know what, maybe this isn't the time for that. Because y'all love skin color so much. But I'm going to tell you something. The one thing that matters to me outside of my relationship with God is how I can get that green color. How I can get my hand on some more of that green. So y'all can worry about the black and y'all can worry about the white. I'm going to worry about how I can get my hand on more of that green. I'm a Republican, Ivan. Listen, I've been around a ton of Republicans all the time lately, not like in my lifetime, but in the last few years, I've been around a lot of Republicans. And guess what? They treated me like a human being. Now, does that mean that there ain't no racist Republicans? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to tell you something. Democrats have been the ones that have treated me the worst by far because they're the ones that keep coming in here. And the white liberals and the liberals, they're the ones that treat you the worst. They're the ones in my life that be on my chat and in my lives on a regular that they can't get their mind out and trying to insult somebody on a regular basis. So I can care less. I can care less. They here. I'm not going to them. They come to me. That's why they love me so much. They be on my top. Say what they want. They be on my top all the time. They can't help themselves. And they can't help themselves. They don't even read the room. They want to come in here and try to insult me. That's why I tell y'all all the time, I am their therapy. I am the elected therapy for them They can't help themselves. They love it here. I am therapy for them. I am the one person that gives them therapy. That's where they get it from. But let me get back into what I was talking about. They'll be going after a while once they realize they ain't, But the other stock that I was looking at is this. 80% of white men voted for Trump. Yes, because and 20% of white men voted for him too. Is okay. The other stock I'm looking at is this one. Appreciate you. Appreciate the comment on the guns. But yeah, like I said before, it's just this is where I invest. These are the things that I'm looking at on a regular basis. Some of these that I'm actually going to buy more stock in. Another one I'm looking at is Tyson Chicken. Another one that I'm looking at is Tyson Chicken. Y'all interested in the stock code? It's Tyson Chicken. I'm in the red with that too. I'm in the red with that too. Like I said, some of y'all just need to read the room. This is about money. This is about investing. This is about dividends and stuff like that. It's not about what y'all want it to be about. So if you don't like what I'm talking about, the best thing you can probably do right now is just go find another chat to get into. Because this is about money. And I got people that are on my live, and I don't care if it's 2 people that really want to get an insight of what I do on a regular basis and what I'm interested in and what I intend to buy. What I intend to buy. The other one I'm looking at is NOG. The other one I'm looking at is NOG. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very, very much. NOG is another one that I'm currently in the red with. So if anybody interested, that's another one you might want to look at. Again, NOG. Reason why I'm putting these things in there is because I think they're like I said, they're in the red for me. So if somebody was to intend to buy stock and they was looking to get started, these might be some good opportunities for them. I'm not telling nobody what to do with their money or where to invest their money. But these are things that I currently have positions in that I am in the red in. So if you're interested in purchasing something, you say, you know what, I want to jump in. Let me put $1 here, $1 there, $1 here, and get started with it. These might be some good ones that you can actually put $1 in and move on. And so, but those are ones that I'm currently interested in. They can't help themselves. They really can't. They on my top. That's all I want to say. They are really on my top. They'll be back. Watch. They can't help themselves. They be on my top. I'm dead serious. Is this stuff be funny? Extremely obsessed. They can't help themselves. All they got to do is come back Monday, and that's for that. The day ain't the day for that. Yeah, it's pathetic. And I usually don't try to put people in timeout. I really don't. I try to give people an open floor, but sometimes they don't know how to read the room. They don't know how to pick the moment, and they don't get it. Tesla stock. I don't own stock in Tesla. I don't own stock in Tesla. I don't tell people what they should and should not do. I don't own stock in Tesla. I have Tesla in ETFs that I own. Tesla don't pay dividends. So it's just I just I like stocks that pay dividends. So Tesla ain't one of the ones that pay dividends. Yes, and some point they might start. And I don't think Tesla is a bad investment. I think that Tesla is a great investment. If you're willing to hold it long enough to the company get to the point where they actually start paying shareholders a dividend. I get it. I just hold it in ETFs, and that's where I have it at. I'm cool with it. Yeah, they are. They are, but it's cool. They need help, and I'm their therapy. I appreciate that, and you know what? I'm not notorious. I'm not. I'm dead serious. They will never ever stop me from doing what I'm doing. Once I decide I'm going to do something, listen, I got hate before I even got started. So the haters, in my opinion, are all just motivators. The more you hate, the more it motivate me. So it just the haters I use, they fuel for me. When they come with their hate, it just fuels my energy. Yeah, I used to have stock in Fannie Mae. I don't have it no more. I might need to look back into that. But yeah, they do pay dividends. And that's a good one. Honestly speaking, and I think that again, Fannie Mae is a big name. They deal a lot with mortgages. They deal with mortgage and stuff. I think that's a great investment. I think Tesla is a great investment. But they don't pay dividends. What's the other one I'm thinking about? Amazon, great investment, but they don't pay dividends. But if you're willing to hold your position long enough to that they get to the point where they pay out dividends, and I think go keep riding. You know what I mean? Ride until the wheels fall off. Right. Haters actually do improve engagement. Ron wins. Joyce, you read the room. You're absolutely right. And that's the way I do. I don't care if they hate on me. I don't care if they don't like me. I don't care. But they always come back here. They can't help themselves. They love this channel. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I got way more people that love what I do than hate. Like, there's a small portion of the same people that just keep coming back in. But the vast majority of people that subscribe to my channel, the vast majority of people that support my channel, the vast majority of people that watch my shows, watch the Fracas show, and all the other things that we're doing over here, they love what we do. You know what I mean? And that's what, but there's, the haters gonna hate. I don't care about them people. Yeah, I have some SCHD, and I think that's a really, really good ETF. I've had it for quite a while. I had it for quite a while, and I'm holding it. I ain't letting that go. But I think SCHD is a very good one. Honestly, I do. I think that's a real good one. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. But I think SCHD is a good one. And if for anybody that's paying attention to what's going on right now, y'all actually read the room and looking for another good one, I didn't put that in there. The reason why I didn't put it in there because I do have it and I'm actually in the green, and I never put stuff in the chat that I'm in the green with. But if somebody's interested in buying a good one and you will, SCHD is a very good one. Honestly, I think that's a very good one. I forget Mommy Trader. I watch her channel once in a while, but usually when somebody asks me about someone that like a lot of time when people ask me about investing and stuff like that, I usually suggest they go to her channel and follow Mommy Trader's page because she sticks to that way more than I do. I'm a little more over the place, but if somebody's looking for, I always say follow her channel. Don't mean don't follow me and get what you get over here. But Mommy Trader does stick to a lot of what investing in, and so I always suggest that if you're looking for another page outside of just my own, that will be a good one to step into to try to learn from. To also, if you're in the beginning stage, or if you know some stuff, because here's the thing: None of us know it all. We don't. But that's how we learn from each other. And you're more right than wrong. The only thing I would say is that it's no guarantee, but you're right 100%. Honestly, it's just the actual amount might fluctuate based on the performance and prices and stuff like that. But I agree with you 100%. If you're 20 years old by the time retirement, and I want y'all to hear what he's saying, $10 a week, retire with $100K a year in dividends, and guarantee you, I know he's just using an estimated amount. That's not the only thing that might fluctuate is the amount, but he's actually on point. Like that, literally, that's it. Now, I mean, now it might be a little higher, a little lower, but he's giving you a baseline of if you do this on a regular, this is where you can end that, especially if you're young. Now, here's the thing. That's tough. It's tough. And I'm explaining to you, if you're a young person on here, this is why it's going to be tough, because life happens. Emergencies happen, cars happen, breakdowns happen, all this type of stuff happen. And what we have the tendency to do is to go take that money and have to take care of some issues. And that's the hard part. It's life. But if you can weather a lot of that stuff without touching your investments and keep going in the path, what he's saying, what he said right there is absolutely correct. The hardest part is making sure you never touch it. You stay consistent, never touch it. And that's real talk. And for me personally, that's why I stay consistent. And I remember going back to when I really, really was like, okay, that's why 401ks are set up the way that they're set up. It's long-term, consistently keep feeding it in. In the long run, you're going to be all right. That's why they set up the way that they're set up. That's what it, and so when Almost Outside posted this statement right back here, he's absolutely correct. The amount may fluctuate, but he's absolutely correct. That's the reason why 401ks, and I'm using 401ks and there are other different investment programs we on the jobs and stuff like that. That's why they set up the way that they set up, because they know that the long-term consistency will pay off down the road in the end if you stay consistent. Now, again, I invest on my own. I have 401ks and stuff like that, but I'd rather do a lot of this on my own, because opportunity to buy, unlike something that's sitting on a rotation and just keep purchasing, I look for opportunity to buy, because I wait for the stock market to crash and go down, and that's when I buy. I don't panic when it crashes. I don't lose my mind when it crashes. When the stock market dropped like it did today and yesterday and today, that's when my eyes get wide and I'm like, okay, I can actually go in and buy some more stock at this moment. That's me. I'm not telling nobody else what to do, but that's what I get excited when the market is down. That's my excitement. Yes. Yes, he is. And my thing is that's when I get excited. So like today, I watched the stock market in my portfolio. When I say stock market, I really just base it off of my portfolio, because I have a lot of money. I have money in a lot of different places. Like I diversify extreme. Just moved to Philly from Miami. So far, much better leadership. Hey, good luck with that. I'm from Philly. You say so. I would never move from Miami to Philly. I'm sorry. I was born and raised all my life in Philadelphia. Nah. I mean, that's cool if it's working for you. I'm glad. God bless you. God bless you. But there is no way. I mean, Miami, yeah, I wouldn't have never went to Philly. I would have went somewhere else. I wouldn't have went to Philly. Yes. You're absolutely right. Almost outside. That's the whole purpose behind that. But again, we know like I know that life happens and it's hard. And this is where you have to, you got to be disciplined with your life. Like my kids, I always tell them this, and I was like, say, listen, am I into Bitcoin? Yeah, I think I'll get into Bitcoin in a minute, but I always say this is that some people tell you to manage your money. I never tell people to so much manage your money. I say manage your life. If you manage your life, it's going to affect your money. This is what I mean by that. If I don't go run the streets and do a whole lot of stuff, I'm not going to spend as much money. If I'm not impulsive every time I see something and somebody entices me to go buy something, I'm managing my money. If I don't go live a lifestyle beyond my means, I'm managing my money. Meaning, as long as I manage my life and how I live my life, it's going to automatically, for the most part, affect how I have money and how much money I have left over to be able to invest my money on a regular basis. So a lot of things that other people will go do, I personally will say, nah, I'm going to refrain from that because I want to be able to take this money and then go invest this money. Therefore, down the road, my investments will take care of me. And that's what it is. The case in point is a little while ago, I went to buy me another firearm. Right? Now, I own stock in Ruger. I own stock in Smith & Wesson. Right? This is my point to this. Each one of these companies, Ruger and Smith & Wesson, pays out dividends. Now, do I own a massive amount? No. But I have reasonably good positions in it. Right? So, I've already been collecting dividends off of for maybe a year or two, maybe a little more longer than that. I'm not exactly sure. And I'm going to continue to collect dividends as long as the company is paying it out. So from a technical standpoint, when I go purchase firearms, I'm already getting them cheaper or almost for free because I make money from the firearm industry is actually paying for me to purchase firearms. Same thing when it comes to fueling my vehicle. Because I own so much money in gas companies, electric companies, energy companies, all of the places that deal with anything and fuel wise, my fuel cost for my vehicle is almost free because the amount of money I get back in dividends goes into my investments. So yes, I am paying for it out of my paycheck, but I'm getting dividends back because I invest in all of this stuff. Everything that I can find, get my hand on, I'm in it. Ruger, yeah. Ruger American. They make firearms. I think it's R. I don't think it's spelled that way. It's I think it's Rauger. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's Rauger, not RO. But I'll help you out. I'm gonna put the stock code in the chat. I'll put both of them in there. Actually, Smith & Wesson stock code and where is it at? I gotta find it because I got so much in here. Oh, I think I shot right past it. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, give me a second, y'all. I gotta find the stock code because I know I flew past it. All right, where you at? Yeah, it's RGR. That's Ruger's stock code if you're interested in it. And Smith & Wesson is this one. And y'all see it? The Trump deranged syndrome, it never ends. But at this point, those type of people, if you ain't on this live, you're gonna get in timeout. Simple as that. That's what's going to happen. And you can come in Monday, whatever days y'all want to come in. Y'all can do whatever it is y'all want to do. But the day is not that day for that. I mean, sometimes these are the type of people when you're in this classroom. Hey, just for real, how you doing? God bless you. These are the type of people that when you're in a classroom, right? You're in a classroom. And no matter how much education is going on, no matter how much knowledge is going on, or how much beneficial stuff is going on, they just want to be a child. They want to disrupt it because they mind can't comprehend the fact that somebody's actually taking advantage of the system as opposed to the system is taking advantage of you. They want you to fall victim to the system, and this is the reason why they can't get themselves out of that mentality. And they can't get themselves out of that mentality. They just can't. Yes, and you know what? Almost outside, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. You know what I mean? Now, here's the thing. I voted for Trump, and I know that politically there are some things that can affect your lifestyle overall. But again, if you're diligent and you're consistent, you can overcome all of that. You know what I'm saying? I pay attention to it because I know where I can win on this. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of rather somebody agree with you politically wise, the reason why a lot of times I'll be talking because I'm trying to tell people, again, you either going to be a victim of the system or you're going to be a beneficiary. You know what I'm saying? So I hear people complaining about their finances all the time, but instead of coming in here and maybe slowing your head up and learning something and getting some substance out of here, so maybe you might financially benefit from, they stuck in that mode. That mode of I just want to make fun and say something, and so they think it affects me, and it doesn't. It's my fuel. So it's fuel for me. Appreciate you, TJ Maxx. Appreciate the subscription. Appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. But yeah, now back to the Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is a great investment. I'm gonna tell you something. I do. Now, again, if you own Bitcoin, and I don't know where Bitcoin is going to be at 5-10 years from now, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. The first time I came across Bitcoin and I heard about it, somebody mentioned it to me. Bitcoin was at $3,500, and that was probably about 7 years ago. I'm not exactly sure on the years, but that was 7 years ago. And I, honestly speaking, I made money off of Bitcoin. But if I would have really, really just paid attention to what I was saying, this is one I missed the boat on, but it is what it is. If you would have bought one Bitcoin at 35, now I've known people don't seen it when it was $600. Well, I'm talking about when I first saw Bitcoin, heard about Bitcoin, it was at $3,500. So let's just say somebody had $3,500 at that moment, and they said, you know what, I'm gonna set this in Bitcoin and I'm gonna leave it. Bitcoin had reached over almost $120,000. So if you would have in 7 years, if you had one Bitcoin from 7 years ago and you never touched it, 7 years later, that Bitcoin would have been, you could have sold that Bitcoin at $120,000. So do I of course, Bitcoin don't pay taxes. I mean, dividends. It's not one of those type of investments. But again, if you're not willing to, if you're not willing to lose it all, don't invest it. Like me, I got money in Bitcoin. I got money in cryptocurrency. I don't talk about cryptocurrency on my lives, but I do have money in crypto. I got money in a lot of crypto. Our team invests in crypto. I just don't talk about it because I'm a dividend investor. That's what I love to do. That's my biggest move is dividends. So that's where I go at. I don't really do a whole lot of talking about crypto. What is government for? Listen, my personal perspective on government is I want it minimized. I do think that there's a slight need for government in this when it comes to taking care of our military and having elected officials to make sure our military good and make sure that we safe as a whole. When it comes to the infrastructure of the country and how things are getting done and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that I think the government is involved in. That I personally think they need to be removed because they are the problem. Josh, how you doing? God bless you. I mean, I don't know how in 40 years, you're probably right. Now, here's the thing. You said the government spent $23 trillion in wars over 40 years. All right. The thing about this is that the amount of money that you spend to build something to make sure that the people are safe, I will never argue with that. I mean, I think that there's an overload of money there, but here's the thing about it: wars are not preventable. It's just like I'm from the hood, and I'm gonna give you a prime example. I'm from the hood, and if you from the hood, your neighborhood, and you're around certain type of people, you already know that you don't have to do nothing to somebody for them to want to do something to you. Here's my point to that: wars are just a larger version of what happens in a local, just like something that happens in a local situation. And here's my point to that: is let's say I'm walking down the street, or I'm getting ready to go get in my car, and someone comes to carjack me, right? They already got a gun, possibly, which most likely, if you're gonna carjack somebody, you better have a firearm to do it. And I don't have nothing. Everything that I have, my car, money, whatever it is, because they have the better weapon, they're gonna take that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm never gonna argue with what you spend money, war-wise, military-wise, to protect the people that you're supposed to protect. This is why we elected you to do. So in that situation, the person had the leverage over me because they had the firearm and they had the weapon, and I had nothing to defend myself. So I had to give up everything that I worked for to get, because to the person that was willing to put their life on the line to take it from me. Now, case in point, if another person decided to do that and I see it coming, like I see, oh, they look like they're about to do something for me, and I got one of them things behind me, and I show you that I'm ready for war, because I got just as much of a powerful weapon as you do, it changes the dynamics very much. They might not, they like, oh, we under just as much of a threat as he is. That's how you got to look at your country. Although people complain about the money that's spent on the military and the wars and stuff, at the end of the day, you don't know what the other intent is from another country. A lot of time we have the ignorance to think that countries don't have bad intentions. 9/11 should have told us that. You don't know what another country is building missiles and stuff like that and do what their intentions are. So my thing is this: for me as an American, I do not want us to have a weak military. So I'm okay with the amount of money. Now, there might be irresponsible money. A lot of that might be you didn't need to spend all of that to get that. I don't know. That's the part I don't know. But, it is what it is. Now, again, if you're a person that don't like the fact that they spend this money, I would suggest that, like me, I own stock in Lockheed Martin. I own stock in Boeing, right? And the reason why I do that, because I know that they're going to get military contracts. And again, whether you're right or wrong, here's my point to that. again, if you know that the wars and all this stuff is going to happen, that's why I got money invested in the companies that make military stuff, guns, weapons, and all. Because I can't stop wars, but I can make money from it. That's why I'm a shareholder. And this is the reason why I tell people, pay attention to what's going on. I own stock in Lockheed Martin. Why? Because I know that they're going to get military contracts to build certain things that the military is going to want. And every time I do my homework to find out more, I'm going to dig more. I own stock in shipping companies. I own stock in everything I can get my hands on. Why? Because that's the way you make money. You're not going to be able to prevent wars. They're going to happen. Before any of us ever came into this world, before there was other than America, there was wars going on. We're never going to stop wars from happening. All right. So again, let me ask you a question. If you walking down the street and somebody just start whooping your behind, you didn't start the fight. You can't predict someone else's behavior. This is how stupid that is. If you walking down the street and somebody just walk up and start beating the crap out of you, did you start that fight? Did you start the fight? So if you not minding your business and someone walk up and just start beating the crap out of you for no reason, just because they felt like it, because it happens and then at some point, you're going to just sit there and let them keep beating the crap out of you? Again, this is the idiocy in that. You know how you have peace through your strength. And if you don't show strength to another country, they're going to come disrupt your peace. Because people have greedy hearts. They're greedy. They want what you have. Mike in the building. God bless you. God bless you. People don't listen. People want what you have. There's a thing called jealousy. And it will motivate somebody to come get what you have without ever putting in the effort to get it. And if you are not prepared to put a stop to that, you are going to be a victim to that. It is idiotic to me when people start to think that there's this peaceful, blessed, peaceful world that people don't do crazy stuff. You cannot predict nobody's behavior. You can only respond to what they intend to do. And if you're not prepared, you're going to always be a victim to it. I live in America. And again, the reason, let me ask you a question. When the last time outside of 9/11, right? You know why people don't mess with America? It's not because we're Americans. It's because they don't want that smoke. They don't want to have to deal with the American military. And no matter, listen, when you put a military in the place, you don't want a weak military. You don't want to have a type of America where anybody and everybody just running over here and doing what they want to do because we have no way of defending ourselves. See, it's easy for people to say that stuff until they become a victim to it. It's like when you're walking down the street and you don't have a police department or no way of protecting, you're gonna be the one you're gonna be victim to it. You can want food, peace, and harmony, but everybody don't want that. That's the ignorant part. Everybody don't want peace and harmony. You know what they want? You can't predict someone's behavior. So you may want that. And that's a beautiful thing. But the person next to you gonna want your peace and your harmony because they're not willing to put the work in themselves to get it. So you gonna just be okay with them taking that from you? You put your time that you'll never get back. You put your effort that you'll never get back. You put everything into trying to build a lifestyle for you, and someone got jealous and came and tried to take it from you because they too lazy and too trifling to do it themselves. And then what happens? Everything you worked for, now they done took. That's it. the best crime prevention, that's a lie. There is no such, whoever told you that the best crime prevention is to making sure people aren't poor. It's your job to make sure you ain't poor. See, I grew up poor. This is where I tell you it's a lie. I grew up poorer than poor. And you know what I had to do? Make sure I did not end up poor. Because what I found out when I was poor was if I learned a talent or skill that people are willing to pay for, I could bring myself out of poverty. And guess what happened? It worked. That's it. That's what happened. It worked. And where y'all getting your information is about as retarded as you can make it. If you think you live in a world where people ain't gonna come take with you, you badly mistaken. Because they're gonna come get it. They're not gonna play with you. That's why we have jails and prisons and police officers and the justice system. Because people have bad intentions. You cannot control people's intentions. You can't control people's intentions. So you will be ignorant to be walking around thinking that people is not going to do something to you. I'm not poor no more. I was. Because I learned how to do something to get myself out of poverty. I learned how to make stuff to get myself out of poverty. I learned how to build stuff, make stuff, repair stuff. I learned talent and I learned skill. And I understood that there are some people that don't want to do it and they're willing to pay you to do it. They're willing to pay you to do it because they ain't willing to do it. So, and my point is, some people don't like driving. So if you're a taxi cab driver, drive all day long. People are willing to pay the taxi to get where they got to go because they don't like driving. Uber, whatever that. Some people are too lazy to go get the food from the restaurant. So what did they do? They came up with DoorDash. Why? Because people are willing to spend it. They'd rather sit at home and be lazy as opposed to go get it. And you willing to pay that money for somebody to bring it to you? Guess what? I'll bring it. And that's it. I did the same thing. I did that. My father told me a long time ago when I was a kid, said, listen, you better learn some talent. You better learn some skill. He said, don't learn just one, master more than one. He said, master quite a few of them. He said, because if one don't work for you, put the other one to work. And that's all he told me. And that's all he needed to tell me. And guess what I did? I learned how to do multiple stuff and I was good at it. And that's how I got myself out of poverty. I realized that people was willing to buy. I didn't care less about people's riches. If someone is rich, I'm not going to be mad at somebody because they're rich. You know what I want to do? Can I get 10 minutes of your rich time? Tell me what you did to get rich. That's all I care about. God bless you if you are. But I ask you a question. If you're rich and you got wealth, please give me some time to tell me how you got there. That has more value to me than your riches. Why? Because you might tell me something that I did not know that might change my financial situation. So instead of me hating on you because you're rich, I asked you to spend some time with me and tell me how you got there. That's more value to me because I'd rather go get it myself. It's your personal job to make sure you ain't homeless. Ain't nobody else responsible for making sure you ain't homeless but you. That's it. There's ways to get a home. And that's true. I agree with you with that. It's not so much about how much money you have. It's how you do it. I'm not rich. But I'm okay. If you make $100K a year building pools and you ain't poor, you just bad with your money. You ain't poor. If you make $100K a year, you ain't poor. You making bad financial decisions with that money. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I can live off of less. I don't need $100K a year. I can live comfortably off of less than that. And that's exactly what I would do. And it doesn't mean I'm going to do what they said. I might. It all depends on what they tell me. It all depends on what they tell me. But I'm going to shake hands with them and find out what they know. $25 years, same number. Hey, then you should. If you work for, I don't know if this is what you're saying, but you work for Verizon for 25 years. You should have been buying Verizon stock for the 25 years you've been there. Yeah, that's a good one. People making $100K don't have time to be trolling online. I agree. That's a good one. That's a real good one. That's a good point to point out. I agree with that. Nope, it won't. I'm explaining to you why I disagree with things being free. When somebody just handing you stuff, you don't appreciate it, and it undermotivates you. And that's been proven. That's why welfare is not good. Now, it's good to help somebody get up, but to hand somebody for nothing, listen, I'm explaining something to you this. When you say free, the minute you put something free behind that, you have to, when you start talking about free, rather it's education than anything else, who's going to do the education for free? Who's going to teach for free? So when you say free education, what teachers are going to go to the educational system spending all their time and money for no money? So they're going to do it for free? So if you want to be educated for free, then you should be out there doing everything for everybody for free. Because in order for you to have anything in this world for free, guess what you got to do? You got to find some people that's willing to either do it for free, or you're going to have to enslave them to make sure that they're doing it for nothing. That's it. Nothing in this life is free. So unless you want to bring back slavery so you can force them to do it so that you can have it for free, whether it's education, food, or whatever it is you're talking about, somebody got to do the work. So who are the slaves that you're going to get and capture and put them in slavery in order for you to get it for free? I would like to know that part. So I would like to know what slaves you're going to go get in order to get them do it for free. K through 12th grade is not free. That's what we pay taxes for. That money is not free. It's not free. That's why people are getting taxed and out the behind for the educational system. It is not free. You think it's free because if it was free, nobody would get a paycheck. There you go. Almost outside. Right on point with it. And that's what you're supposed to do. Yes, y'all, do what Sackcloth Queen said. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate y'all very, very much. Make sure y'all subscribe to the OG Network. And just so y'all know, on the OG Network, there's a lot of things that we're doing differently. Yeah, I have my show, but we also have the Fracas Show, which we do Sundays at 12 p.m. We have the Fracas Show. And on that Fracas Show, it's 5 of us. My brother out the pit, R.I.P. Bam Bam, Ant Like the Bug, and my brother from the Fat Chatula Show. We all get together and we just act the fool. We talk different things. It's hilarious. It's funny. We be just doing our thing. And if you're looking for a place to come on Sunday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, come check out the Fracas Show. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you can go through my channel and look at the Fracas Show information. I mean, the videos that we've already done, and you'll get a better idea. We are our slaves. I mean, if you want to label it that, yeah, that's fine. I mean, slaves. Use the word slave. That means you're forced to do what you're doing. I'm motivated. I'm not forced, but I can get it. I get what you're trying to say. Let me explain something to you. I work, and I don't make 100K. On my job, I don't make 100K. And guess what? I'm doing great because I'm not trying to live above my means. See, I know how to make money work. So my job personally don't pay that. Now, I could make that if I put the time in, but I ain't trying to. I like my free time. I could make it, but I know how to manage my money. I know not to live above my means. My time is more valuable to me, so I want my time. So I don't work as often. Now, I used to put a lot of work in so that now down the road, I don't have to. That's the difference. Before I would. Now I don't. Why? Because I want to live. And if you're young, grind early. Be responsible early. Put the work in early. Make sure you're smart with your money. Don't try to buy stuff you can't afford. Don't try to live based off of somebody's opinion. Live very little. Put that money away. Invest that money as much as you can. If you're young, I guarantee you that if you do that for your first 10 to 15 years, from 18, do it for your first 10 to 15 years, life will be easier for you. Because what people fail to realize is that inflation is always going to happen. Prices and cost of living is going to always go up. Rarely is it ever going to go down. The only thing you can do is try to outpace it. Meaning, if you got more money coming in above inflation every year, you're increasing your money above inflation. You're making your money work for you above inflation. Financially, you'll always be okay. Why? Because you are outpacing inflation. But if you're out there running up debt, buying up stuff, letting all of the credit cards and all this other stuff, you're eventually going to have to face it. And guess what? They're going to get more of your money than you get. The credit card company is going to have more of your money than you get. The water company, the gas company, the car company, the mortgage, the insurance company, everybody's going to get all your money, and you're going to end up with none of it. Because you tried to live a lifestyle above. And now here's the thing. If you lose that job, all that goes away. I remember I bought my first house. And the realtor tried to get me to buy a house that was way more money than where I was buying that, because they was doing it in their own interest and not mine. I said, nope, I don't want that. I want this. My first house was a triplex. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. My first home I purchased was a triplex. Me and my wife at the time, we moved in on the 3rd floor. My realtor didn't want me to buy it. He was like, oh, you should go. We live in a better neighborhood. Nope, I'm going right here. I went in there and I did the work in that house. We lived in the smallest apartment on the 3rd floor. And I went and I did the work in that house. That house right there paid for everything. Once we got it all rented out, it paid for my life. Paid for my car. Anything I wanted, the rent that I was collecting, it paid for the house and it paid for the vehicle. My paychecks was not even affected by that. The business was affected. My livelihood wasn't affected by my job. The rent money that was coming in is what was beneficial. It paid for the things that I wanted. Not my paycheck, the rent. Because I did not let the realtor tell me to go do some stupid stuff, buy this house in this nice neighborhood and all this other stuff, that at some point all it became was a burden. That's why I know the difference between liabilities and assets. I know the difference between liabilities and assets. See, most of y'all go accumulate a whole bunch of liabilities, things that are costing you money. I don't do that. I go look for things that's going to make me money. That's it. I maximize my assets and I minimize my liabilities. That's it. And as long as my assets are taking care of my liabilities, I'll be okay. And I'm not rich doing it. There you go. See that? Somebody that was smart and did the right thing with their money. And yes, don't buy it. Go live somewhere else. Look, be patient and go find something that is extremely cheap that you can relatively afford without consuming all your money. You don't have to buy it that high. There is something out there that you can buy cheaper that you can go get. You just don't want to put the work in. That's the difference. You want to live and you want to look good for everybody. That's what that is. There are no houses under $1 million. There's plenty of houses under $1 million. I don't know what you're looking at. You said there's no houses over under $1 million. What world are you living in? Well, you must be in California or something. Here's the thing, my cousin, this is how smart he was. He sold his house for well over $300,000. He moved to Ohio and bought a house for $63,000. He was smart. And he got just as much house where he went than he did when he sold it. Maybe even better. So again, and he doing all right. He's okay. My thing is this, again, you gotta be smart with your money. I don't care if I was a millionaire. I ain't buying no house for no $1 million. I just won't do it. I would not spend $1 million on any home. There's not a home to me that's worth $1 million. Somebody tell you it's worth $250,000 and you believe them, that's on you. I will never let a real estate agent, I will never let a home appraiser tell me what something is worth. I tell me what something is worth to me. I give it the value that it's going to get based on what I look at. I can care less what they say. That's between them and the bank. And if I'm going to get a loan, all that's great. But the reality of it is that I'm going to look at it from my own perspective, my own financial status, and say, I am not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't even base it off of my income. When I go to buy something, if I was going to buy a house today, I would not base it off of my income. And I'm being serious with you. I'm going to base buying a house. If I go to buy a house today, I will look at what I got coming in and I say, if I had to lose my job and I had to make a bare minimum, I want that house that I can afford no matter what cost of living goes up. I don't care about how nice and community and all that other stuff is. I'm going to make where I let comfortable enough for me, and that's going to be it. I am not trying to keep up with the journey because that's the sucker move, and that's how everybody get told. That's where most people get caught up at. They get caught up in the heights. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a nice neighborhood. First of all, I wouldn't buy none of these houses they build today because they junk. Most of the houses I see built today is nothing but a fancy stack of wood. That's it. I watch people spend $300,000 to $400,000 for a big, giant, fancy stack of wood. These houses are not worth what these people are paying for them. Now, if most of the people stop buying them and they wait long enough and start spending the money for it, These housing prices have come down. Why? Because the people trying to sell it is still dealing with the cost of owning it. They still got to pay the taxes. They still got to pay the upkeep. And at some point, it's going to start to eat into their money. So if you really want to bring the houses down, anybody in America, just stop buying them. Now, I know that might be complicated, tough, but you stop buying them long enough, and they sit long enough, and they get tired of consuming the cost of owning them, guess what's going to happen? Price is going to come down. That's where the consumer wins. See, the problem with us most consumers is that we don't realize the power that we have as a consumer. Stop buying it, and it'll come down. The car prices, they're way off the roof. Stop buying them. Keep driving that piece of junk you got until the wheels fall off. Because these dealerships got all these cars on these lots, and as long as they don't sell them and they sitting there, they're depreciating in value. And eventually they will run out of money to keep business running. So now they're going to need capital to keep the business running. So they're going to have to offload some of these cars a lot cheaper. Why? So they can get some cash. But the consumer will win in that if everybody stopped being so impulsive and buying it all the time. I'm just saying. Don't mean I'm right. Don't mean I'm wrong. That's just my opinion. Again, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, 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 very much. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. And y'all know that Ron's opinion don't matter. But the one opinion Ron's opinion matters with is when it comes to having a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's it. I will tell you in a minute. Ron, opinion don't matter. But when it comes to having a relationship with God, that is my one opinion that does matter. And that's real talk. I don't care. None of the other stuff really matters. And we can have a conversation. I'm not saying I'm wrong about it. I'm not saying I'm right about it. But then I'm just saying the one thing that I am adamant about my opinion is that having a relationship with Jesus Christ, that is by far the most opinionated thing I can give you. Outside of that, hopefully y'all having a blessed, wonderful day. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very much. I had a wonderful time with y'all. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the dialogue. Everybody coming back, giving their opinions, giving their perspectives. That helps everybody else. And for those that may have been listening in the background, might have learned something. I got something out of this. This was a great show. I think it was extremely productive, even though we still get the trolls here and there. But I still have fun doing it. Every single one of y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I'm out of here. Enjoy life. Peace.